Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm your host, Ognema, and today I have two special guests with us, Raul and Adria, who are experts in the Web 3.0 technologies. So, before we dive into the topics, could you guys please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background and your company?
Yeah, hi.
You
My name is Adrian. First of all, Ognen, thank you for inviting us to the podcast. And well, we are two guys from Barcelona. We have a project of NFT books. It calls Liberada, and well, basically we are working on it, and I hope you enjoy.
yeah. As Adri said, my name is Raul. We've been friends for a while now. Um, we started working on 2020 together in some projects on the Binance Smart Chain. Now we moved to Cardano with Liberada. We wanted to do a bigger project. And yeah, more or less my background is that I worked as an IT local officer here in Barcelona. We've both been really into crypto since 2008. Not really much in deep, but just having a glance of what's coming around, and with all the Web3 developments and smart contracts, everything started exploding, and we got really interested in the topic. And here we are.
Yeah, it's very interesting how the Web 3.0 world gets the attraction of a lot of people. And thank you for your guys' introductions. So, can you guys share more about your company and how it's involved with Web 3.0 technologies, and what exactly inspired you working on this field, and what are some of the projects of the current state in your company that you guys are working on?
Do you want me to answer the question, Adri?
What? Yeah, if you want. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I can start, and you take some key points later. Yeah,
Okay.
so what brings us to Web3? Basically, decentralization. The problem with Web2 is that there's a lot of centralization, starting with databases. There are quite a few providers, and also censorship, because if some government or some ISP is the internet service provider, doesn't like what you're doing, they can take you out of business instantly. Uh, you have other kinds of web, like the um, Tor network, for example, that was developed by the U.S. military, and it's a bit more decentralized. It's a bit more um, secure, and you don't have to give your identity, but it's not as transparent as Web3. Because in Web3, everything is into a ledger, and you don't have to trust third parties. It's just what it is. If you can understand the code, the logic, and you trust it, um, it's everything you need. You know what's going on, what are the rules, and nobody can change it. And if they can change it, it's under a consensus mechanism. So that's what really attracts us on the first place. A bit of background of the project. We were studying how publishers and all the book markets work. Um, and we thought that Web3
Well, and
have a lot. Yeah. Do you
yeah,
want to say something, Adri?
yeah. In this point, like editorials and normal publisher companies, take a lot of profit for the authors, like between the 70 and the 30% of the profits they take it. So we decide to do something more transparent and better for the authors, for the writers, and that's why we decide to do this project.
Yeah, and also we have a cheaper supply chain because if you go to physical books, you have to maintain the publisher, the delivery, the bookstores. If you have something like Amazon, you have to provide a service. You have to have a web hosting, host a lot of books, um, have a backend. With crypto, you have all that covered. So
Yeah,
the,
with the
the
smart
only
contracts is
yeah yeah
all
yeah
sent. Yeah.
the only cost are the minting cost and the transaction cost to give it to the client. So it's really efficient in that part. Also the ownership. If you own a physical book, you own it. Always can be stolen or something like this, but you really own the book. Once you go to web service providers like Amazon, you don't really own the book. You cannot resell it and that kind of stuff. So we wanted to mix the physical world benefits with the digital world benefits and have something in between that can be really cheap for us to produce, really cheap for the end consumer to buy, and to to have the authors get a better a big piece of the cake, so they can get more profits in the way. Also, they can have part of the what not part the whole second hand market benefits. They get a 3% of every sale on the second market. The other percentage is for the owner of the book. We don't get anything on the second hand market. So I don't.
It's like
Do,
an
do
honest
we
work.
really answer the question, or we missed some
Yeah.
part?
Yeah, that's a good explanation of the concept of your whole
Hmm.
company, and that's an interesting innovation from you guys. And the concept that you guys explained that, so exactly what are the key concepts that Web 3.0 provides you from the previous versions of the web are way much better in many fields, like you said, with governmental reasons, with personal reasons, and so on. So, what are some of the business applications of Web3? Like, how are smart contracts being uh, utilized in areas like finance, insurance, logistics, and supply chain management?
Do you want to start that
So
one?
yeah, okay. So this is all with the smart contracts. Um, with the smart contracts, you can like do a transaction of the product directly with the blockchain. You don't need like another part or another people who validate this transaction. You can do it directly. So this improve a lot, like all these like areas like finance, insurance, logistics, supply chain management, and there are a lot of companies that are working now on that. For example, we have like a B chain and provenance that use that smart contracts to track the product chain from manufacturing to the sale. So it's really interesting because this can apply to various products like food, fashion, luxury, technology, well, all you can imagine. transparent. It's super transparent and super secure system.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
then in the
interesting how the blockchain has a big impact on the way business revolves around it, like the examples you and Raul gave. But can you actually provide us like with some real world examples of these business these assets tokenizations using Web3? Like how is this tokenizations on the blockchain being applied in industries such as real estate, artwork, like digital e-commerce stores, and so on?
Do you want to
um,
continue, Adri, or do you want me to take the question?
I'll take you the question now. I'm going to take the
Yeah.
next one.
Yes. Adri said the main points of Web3 are permissionless and trustless. You don't have to trust anybody. You don't need permission to do anything. So going to the point of real world applications, for example, tokenization, as you said, in Cardano, there's a protocol called Indigo Protocol that does just this. It's a synthetic assets protocol. For example, they have uh, three synthetics right now. They are taking more to the catalog, but now they have synthetic BTC, synthetic Ethereum, and synthetic IUSD. And they take a really smart approach to the synthetics. So they have an oracle that's checking constantly real world data, and they have a pool with Cardano that is giving the asset the price with over collateralization. And also they have another pool with the assets. For example, let's take IUSD. So I give some Cardanos to the first pool, I mint IUSD with an over collateralization of 120. I have to put 20% more Cardanos than the asset I'm having. The point here is that you can always burn the asset. For example, if I created 20 IUSD, if I burn the 20 IUSD, I get the whole Cardanos I deposited. So once you have this, to give really a balance to the assets and maintain the peg to the US dollar, what they do is they have another pool where you deposit IUSD. If someone's minting price gets under 110%, they lost the ability to swap the asset, synthetic asset, for Cardano. The pool of the asset burns the same amount of assets the other person got, and they get in exchange the Cardanos with a discount. That's why you lost the ability at 110% instead of 100% to give something to the people that are providing liquidity to the second part of the process. I think it's a good example. Maybe we can check other ones. Is
Yeah, for
there really a specific a field you are interested in?
So
for example, the real estate, the tokenization of real estate, is really interesting. There are platforms in United States like Realty and Propi that are utilizing the tokenization to allow investors to buy and own fractions of real estate properties. So this enables direct investment in real estate without the need to purchase the entire property. So don't have if you don't have enough money to invest in whole house, you can buy a portion of it. So this is really interesting too.
Yeah, that's like a very safe investment that a lot of people are looking forward to invest. But the it's interesting how the blockchains and different types of blockchains have a different type of impact on each industry in outside the Web 3.0 world, and how the Web
Mhm.
3.0 the Web 3.0 world affects it, which is also a very interesting topic. So yeah, otherwise, can you guys explain how is blockchain technology being used to create transparent supply chains? Like, can you share examples of companies leveraging blockchain for tracking and verifying the origin, authenticity, and history of products?
Yes, we have interesting companies that are doing like these transparent supply chains, like the Beers Group. It's a platform that you can footprint in the blockchain all the diamonds chain. I mean diamonds that you take in Africa. Um, where is the extraction, the transportation, the reshaping, and the sale. So this really helps the conflict of the blood diamond, and provides confidence in their provenance. And more of that, for example, in the Ford Motor Company, along with IBM, has an initiative to use blockchain to trace the cobalt used in the vehicles manufacturing. The majority of cobalt mines are located in Indonesia and South Africa, where child labor is prevalent. So that's why Ford aims to trace the cobalt from its extraction. And we have another one, for example, Walmart, um, the supermarket. Um, they have the same because the president of Walmart request to their team to trace a package of um, mangoes. Um, he want to trace that package and from the origin to the sale, and it takes to him 6 days to know where the mangoes come and all the chain. So he decided to improve a new system with blockchain that now can trace all the chain in just 2 seconds, and that's what blockchain can do with that type of supply chains.
So this is interesting because this is actually like something people use in real life that they have a chance to feel, but they don't actually have a clue about. And that's why it's always good to put forward an example and tell the users what they are experiencing when using certain applications. So yeah, so since we are here talking about this topic, we can also discuss what are the benefits of decentralized digital identity systems, and how can blockchain enable individuals to have control over their personal info and selectively share it in sectors like finance, healthcare, and data management, and so on. So,
Raul, do you want to
Yeah,
answer this one?
yeah. So the main point of blockchain technology is that when you create a wallet, A wallet is what you use to transact and store the coins and all that kind of stuff. It's fully decentralized, but also anything can link you to that wallet. So you are fully anonymous. You only have a string of numbers and letters, and that's it. Nothing can link you to that wallet unless your behavior on the blockchain leaks some data. For example, if I have a wallet with 100 bitcoins and I want to sell them on Binance, and I do a transaction and send the Bitcoin to Binance, and I have a KYC in Binance, they have my data, so they can link that wallet to me. But if you only transact with DeFi projects and that kind of things, and you never purchase your coins or you purchase them on a decentralized manner, it's pretty much impossible to link you to that wallet. Also, for some applications, you maybe want to have a kind of digital ID. There are some companies providing that services. They take an approach of zero knowledge because um, you are like a collection of checkbox that have your data. No, if web application wants to know your location, for example, let's think we are taking a survey and they only want American people from a certain age. Um, what they do is first ask you, as the owner of the digital identity, to share the information with the web page. If you allow them to know the information, they will only know that you have the criteria to take that survey. They don't know who you are, how old are you, they don't know anything about you. They only know that you have the criteria to continue. There,
So
yeah,
this
sure.
is basically like a better way to provide or to use your wallet in on the internet than using your actual bank account.
Yeah, it really is because if you link your bank account, they have all your information. And for example, if you send me a transaction, I cannot know a lot from you for that transaction. But if you do it to a country, they can take a lot of information from that. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So since we are here, since we are talking about transactions and how the blockchain works, we I would like to discuss about DeFi, the decentralized finance. How has it gained significant attention? Like, could you explain how DeFi applications utilize smart contracts to offer traditional finance service without intermediaries? And are there any notable DeFi platforms of use causes you can highlight, like the ones you think?
Yeah, we can highlight the platform Ivy. It's a platform that uses smart contract um, for the financial service, such as loans, exchange, and insurance, without the need of intermediaries. So these applications enable greater accessibility and transparency in the financial transactions. There are
Oh,
more like DeFi examples. Um, Maybe Raul, you can say some ones.
Yeah, for sure. But first, continuing with Aave, a cool feature of DeFi versus a bank, for example, if you take a loan on a bank, you don't really know what the bank conditions are. I mean, you don't know if they are solvent. Um, the loan can change. Can happen a lot of things there. If you take a loan with Aave, uh, as they are fully decentralized and permissionless, and all the information is on the blockchain, you can know if they are liquid. Um, you have the key points of the loan, how much it's gonna cost. You have a lot of flexibility. All the information is there. You can always verify and check, and that's not something you can do on a bank. Also, another benefit I see there is that in banks you have a big pool of capital coming from the central banks, investment groups, but in DeFi, everybody can participate on the financial services. So if I have $100, for example, in Ethereum, and I want to lend them to someone else and have some profit, I can do it. There's no one that can stop me. Even if I'm just uh, a, a farmer from India, there's no boundaries there, like in the financial systems. Also, I don't have to provide any proof of who I am, what's my background, if I can or cannot repay. Everything is it's take by the collateral amount I put in. So I cannot get in debt because I have a collateral amount that's protecting my loan. I can use leverage if I want to loan more. It's a bit risky, but you can do it if you want. There's no one stopping you to take your own decisions. That's a good point there.
Can you
Uh,
shortly explain what leverage is to our guests? I mean, to our
yeah,
listeners?
mm, for sure. Um, let's imagine we have 100 euros, no? And we want to take um, $200 of some asset. Um, you have a collateral amount that is the 100 euros, and if the dollar you took 200 deviates from its price, uh, you lose your money. You can keep the dollars, but you lose the collateral. It's like if you want to purchase a car. That's a better example. Yeah, if you want to purchase a car and you have a home, you can have your home as collateral. That means that if the price of the car gets lower, I excuse me, higher than the price of the house, the bank can take your house. So that's basically how collateral works. I don't know if I answered the question. Is it clear?
Yeah, it's
You
clear.
have two assets of different value. If the asset you have as collateral, the value is lower than the asset you purchased, you lose your collateral.
So, for example, when someone is trading, for example, let's say Ethereum,
Mhm.
and he wants to, for example, he's trading one Ethereum in the market and he uses 5 times leverage. That means his value from the Ethereum will get 5 times bigger, but it's not the money that I am trading with, but it's the with the money I'm borrowing from my uh, platform I'm using, right?
Yeah, it is.
And
Also, your asset will be locked because if you take 5 times more value than you deposited, it cannot leave the contract because once it leaves the contract, you you wouldn't repay because you have 5 times more value than your collateral. So if you take a loan with collateral, it's just speculation because you can do anything with what you loan with because it cannot leave the contract.
exactly. And for the
Yeah,
people that are wondering, is there any chance if you even lose a lot of percentage of your money to even go in depth to the platform you're trading on?
yeah. The point is that you can never go in depth. For example, if I have one asset with a value of 1 and I have another asset with a value of 2 and I do a 5x leverage, I will get liquidated 5 times faster than normal. I mean, if your if your liquidation point is in a scale of 100, it's 100, and you use leverage. If we use a leverage of 2, I will get liquidated at 50. If we use a leverage of 10, I will be liquidated at 10. So if lose 10% of the value, I will get liquidated. So it's exponential.
Yeah, so it's a better thing for people that are starting out to trade with, let's say, with not as much money as other people, and they can use leverage to gain more money, correct?
Yeah, they get more exposure to the asset, but in both directions.
True. So, since we discussed about these certain topics and we talked about how the blockchain has an impact on the real world, do you guys think that blockchain technology has the potential to enhance transparency and security in voting and governance process? Like, can you provide an example of how the blockchain is being used to improve the transparency in voting systems, for example?
Of course, yes. Blockchain is used to improve transparency and security in a voting and decision making process in organizations and governments. So it enables an immutable record of votes and ensures the integrity of the process. For example, in Estonia, the country, the European country, implemented an online voting system based on blockchain since 2014. Um, Through its platform, called e-residency, and its system called iVoting. In this platform, citizens can securely and verifiably cast their votes using a decentralized cryptographic key systems. So this improves all the actual democracy system because with blockchain now we can vote from wherever you are. So
So, do
really
you
improve.
think because everyone knows that in the like the industry and in the voting area there are a lot of fake voters, I would say, do you think blockchain will stop that and it will actually show like 100% accurate and real results?
Yeah, that's for sure. The results are 100% accurate, and not also are they accurate. So the main point here is that anybody can check how it's done with full transparency. You don't know who voted because it's transparent. You only can know that someone voted something. You have to first trust that the voting system um, has a good background. I mean, for example, if we want to do a voting system for a community, let's start with something smaller. And I distribute one token to every community member. The only thing I have to check is that this token was sent to every community member. Anybody has two tokens, I can verify that. Once I verify that, one token equals one vote. I can also verify that. And once everything is verified, you can see in real time what token voted what. You cannot know what token belongs to who, but you can know what they're doing.
So these are anonymous votes that not everyone, I mean, everyone that has a residency, that has a passport or is older than 18 can vote, but you don't actually know who voted for who. You just know the amount of people who voted, correct?
Yeah, for sure. And that can be linked also with what we talked about a bit earlier, the zero knowledge identity proof.
Yeah, that's perfect. So, since blockchain can provide us with the goods in the real world, like I mentioned, can how does blockchain uh, how does the digital advertising being plagued by issues like fraud and lack of transparency? Like, how can blockchain-based solutions address these challenges and ensure authenticity and performance in digital advertising campaigns? Like, are there any notable projects like in this space in digital advertising?
So, blockchain-based solutions are used to improve transparency and efficiency in digital advertising. These applications allow advertisers and publishers to track and verify impressions, clicks, and other advertising data to ensure the authenticity and performance of the campaigns. For example, Brave browser is a web browser that use blockchain technology to improve digital advertising. How? It uses the basic attention token, the BAT, to reward users for their attention and engagement with ads. That users can choose to view ads and receive this token in return, while advertisers can transparently track the performance of their ads.
Raul, do you have anything to add up?
Yeah, I don't know much about that topic, so Adri is the expert here.
Yeah. So, one more question before we end this podcast video. So, intellectual property protection is a crucial aspect of the digital age. How can blockchain be used to manage copyright and intellectual property rights? Like, can you explain how it fascinates fair distribution and monetization of digital content? How wrong can someone go of using copyright images and so on?
Well, we can talk about here Liberada, maybe, right, Raul? It's like
Yeah, we can import talk about Liberada. Do you want to start with with Liberada and maybe I expand later with other topics?
yeah, why not? So in Liberada, we use the NFTs to give the copyright to the author's work. Because directly when you upload an NFT on blockchain, um, the copyright is like stay there, and it's it's like better for authors because with this technology they can now be their own publishers. So that's a good point. So if you want to continue now, Raul.
Yeah. It's more or less what Adri said. You have a full verifiable source um, that tells you when it's created, who created it, what's the content inside, and that it's not editable. You cannot edit that. So you have a source that's giving you all the key details to have some kind of copyrights. On the dark side of blockchain, as we told earlier, is that it's permissionless. So you don't have to ask nobody to do something. If I want to upload a full Disney movie with copyright, no one can stop me really. So can be used for copyright man. Yeah. Also, can somebody upload whatever they want to the network? That's true too. And in the Web2 applications, for example, if you upload a Disney movie, you will be out of business in 2 weeks. If you want to do that same thing on Web3, no one can stop you.
But what do you think about the people? Like, for example, I will take NFTs as an example.
Mhm.
So, as you know, the ape project was blowing
Yeah.
and everyone was making a meme about it. So, what people on Twitter, like investors and actual memers, what they do is they would take screenshots or save these NFTs, flexing or sharing that they actually own them. What do you say about that? Like, can they get some kind of copyrightal law used against them, or is that totally fine because the blockchain is under someone else's name?
Yeah, you can take the copyright out of the blockchain, but um, there's something regarding this topic that it's really important to be clear here, because, for example, in the board tapes case, you can do a Chinese knockoff of the board tapes. I can copy the smart contract. I can copy the picture. Nobody's stopping me. But what I cannot copy, it's the hash of the transaction, and I cannot also copy the ID of the NFT. So it's like a barcode that's telling you that's the real product. It's not a knockoff. That it's irreplicable. You it doesn't matter how hard you try. By concept, you cannot do that, and that's what differs from the real world. For example, if you want to buy a Prada bag, you can buy a knockoff, and nobody will know it's a knockoff if it's a replica one to one. In NFTs, you cannot do a replica one to one because there's always this piece of code that's telling you that's the original one.
So that's like just saying if you go to an Adidas shop, a original Adidas or Nike shop,
Mhm.
and to go in a sketchy shop where the shoes are more than half the price less. For example, if in the original store it costs $200, in the knockoff it will cost $50 or even less.
Yeah, yeah, it's that. That's true.
Yeah. So before we end this podcast, do you have anything to add, Adri or Raul?
Well, for me, it's okay. I think we discussed a lot of things. It was really wonderful talk about this, and for me, it's okay. Maybe try to follow us in social networks, Liberada, and you will see how the project is improving.
Yeah,
Ye-
it's a bit what Adri said. If someone's is interested in NFTs, Web3 applications, blockchain, all that kind of things, we have a Instagram, Liberada, that we post a lot of things related to blockchain, permissionless, and all that kind of stuff, and also about our project. So it's really easy to digest. They are like a couple lines, and we talk about a lot of topics. Yeah.
Yeah, so once again, thank you guys a lot for sharing your insights on the applications of Web3 in the real world. It's fascinating to hear about your experience and the exciting work your company is doing in this field. So I will link your guys' social networks in on my Instagram that I will be sharing this podcast as well. And we hope our listeners found this discussion informative and thought-provoking. So stay tuned for more exciting episodes on the latest trends and innovations. Until next time.